feel like that's what everybody says. It's always the whole like burn the boats. That's like the hardest
keep
part.
saying that.
I know. I've literally like that word for exactly. I've said that like probably the last 4 podcasts.
Yeah,
Really?
like last 4.
Burn the boats.
It's
Burn
your
the boats.
tagline.
Burn the
Okay,
boats.
perfect.
Yeah,
Maybe that's how we start
That's
the
how
show.
you sign off. Yeah.
And remember, children, burn the boat.
Burn the boats.
Welcome back to another episode of the Monarch Social Podcast. With me, as always, I have Makoa Skull.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
You getting introduced? I thought you were going to.
We switched up our intro last second.
Oh, okay.
Normally we have this whole thing, and I was like, today I hate that intro.
Yeah.
And so we were like, maybe we go a little bit like ridiculousness style. It's like, with me as always, Makoa Skull.
We got
I like
Makoa.
And I was just
Hello.
supposed to be like, what's up? Like, Stilo
hello,
Brim, you know?
hello.
The Stilo Brim over here.
That was amazing.
Anyways,
We should keep that.
today we have with us.
The one, the only.
Are you going to introduce?
Miss Amelia
There we go.
Larson.
I was waiting for it.
I didn't know. I didn't know, man. I didn't
All
know.
right. Yes, we have Amelia Larson with us today. I'm so stoked to have you. We've known each other for a couple of years now and everything, but she is the owner of A Life for Seniors, and we're going to get into that. But introduce yourself, where you're from, and what you do, and what is A Life for Seniors.
Okay, so I'm from Utah, grew up in Logan. So stayed up there, came down, went to the U, and have been in Salt Lake ever since. Always have told myself I'm moving out, but here I am still. So
Did you go to Utah State up there?
I went for 1 year to Utah
I
State.
was just about to say, I'm surprised you didn't go to Utah State. Like, whenever I think of Logan, I only think of Utah State.
Everyone from high school went there, and I just needed a break.
You're like,
so.
I'm over it.
You're
I was
like, I can't
thank you,
do this.
and goodbye.
When I
Yeah.
think of Utah State, I think of like cowboy boots and
I think
horseshoes.
Right? Straw hanging out of your mouth.
Like straw
Yeah,
hanging out of your
exactly.
mouth. So what brought you down here then?
School.
School?
Yep.
And where'd you go down here?
To the U.
To the U.
Yeah.
Okay. And what'd you get your degree in?
So I did my undergrad in healthcare administration and then my master's in gerontology. So
Do you know Oliver Johnson?
I don't think so.
He's in healthcare. He's part of that same clique. But
Okay.
Wait, what did you get in your master's in?
Gerontology. It's the study of aging.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
geriatrics.
Yeah.
Cool. That's cool. I've never
Right?
heard that one.
I know. Everyone's like, what? Yeah.
I was like, is this like with dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Or?
Is it a test? Yeah. It could be. We'll pretend.
I never know what's coming out of Ko's mouth over here. Is that like dinosaurs? No, that's
That's
awesome. Jinx.
Jinx.
Right? Okay, thanks again.
Tell us about after school. A Life for Seniors.
Life for
What's
Seniors.
A Life for Seniors?
Okay, so it's a placement agency, helps families and individuals find assisted living and memory care.
Awesome.
Yep.
And did you start that?
Yeah, so started it 4 years ago. Prior to that was in the assisted living world and just thought there was a need to kind of help educate people, and now I'm here.
Is that kind of like what got you started with it? Was like working there?
Yeah, so growing up, my grandpa was paralyzed, and so he was one of those very stubborn-minded people, right? Didn't ever want to leave his house, didn't want help. So he would crutch himself around until he wore out his rotator cuffs and then had to use a wheelchair.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he was the guy that, home care would come in every now and then. He'd have to do a little rehab, but my parents were very big about volunteering in skilled nursing and things like that. So kind of grew up in that world, and then I was doing speech pathology for school, and then my grandma had a stroke in California, so we went to visit her, and it was just a really negative experience. She was really depressed, and so I switched and wanted to make a difference in that type of a setting. So started off in skilled nursing, worked my way up from a server, CNA, marketing activity director, up until I was running them. And I liked skilled nursing, but I didn't really feel like I could make that change that I wanted to make. It's super regulated, so switched to assisted living, and then did that for probably 4 or 5 years. And then just kind of got to the point where there wasn't a lot of room to grow from my position. And when families came in, everyone pays attention to like the chandeliers and the countertops. And I wanted to educate them on things that they should actually be paying attention to because, that's what's going to make the difference. So I figured I'd take the leap of faith, and what was the worst that could happen? So
What year did you start A Life for Seniors?
So it's 4 years ago this month.
2018?
Yep.
Nice.
Did you always know that you wanted to be like a business owner, or how did that entrepreneurial bug or that business owner bug get you? Like,
Yeah.
what was that story?
Well, so when I was younger, I thought I was always going to be a lawyer. I loved like the
Really?
mock trial,
Arguing
the
with
debate
people? No.
team, right? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, my parents. I'm like, hello. I don't know. My dad owns his own business, and so I think kind of growing up and seeing that. But I also kind of got to the point where if I'm going to be working hard, I want to be doing it for myself, and I want to make the decisions of how I get to interact with people and do things. I think working in the corporate world, there were some things that just didn't sit well with me, right? Like when we would have to do price adjustments for families or things like that, I didn't always understand the reasoning behind it, and it was hard for me to tell families that were already in a really tough place, like, surprise, it costs more money now to deliver your meal trays, right? And so when there just wasn't that room to grow, I figured, here it goes nothing. So
That's cool.
What was the hardest part about starting the type of A Life for Seniors, the placement business?
Yeah.
What was the hardest part about starting that journey?
I think honestly quitting the job that I was in, because it was consistent, right? I knew what I was doing. I had a guaranteed paycheck. And what I'm doing now, not everyone knows that service exists. So probably the first 6 to 8 months, I don't think I really made any money. So it was kind of one of those things of, do I quit while I'm ahead and just go back and get a job, or do we just see if we can get some traction? And eventually we got there. But yeah, the leap of faith, probably.
No, that's really awesome. So since you began, and say, for the first 6 months, so let's say 3.5 years, right?
Yeah.
How many families have you helped place, or how many individuals have you helped place over that time?
Probably over 200. I don't know the exact amount, but quite a few. So
And so just to clarify, so say someone has a loved one and they're looking to place their family member into a center. You're the middleman that says, okay, hey, here's what's available and this is what fits your insurance.
yeah, so it's almost like, think of it like a brokerage, right?
Yeah.
So you tell me what you need, what your price point is, and then I'll reach out to buildings on your behalf, put a list together of who I think is best for what you're telling me, and then, connect you guys, set up tours, kind of just oversee the whole process. So
Do you have like an office in Salt Lake?
So I just work from home. A lot of it we just do over the phone. Just a lot of times families,
Do you like meet with people like to do the tours though?
depending, pre-COVID, yes. Post-COVID, not really, just because buildings are still cautious as to how many people are coming in.
COVID was
So-
probably crazy. COVID was probably super.
It was wild, yeah. Now things are pretty open again, but I think A, for the sake of just people's schedules, and B, just the quick turnaround time, it's just easier to, usually I kind of prepare them with questions that they should ask. A lot of times too, like after talking to you, I kind of have an idea of which one you're probably going to go to, but just educating them as to what to ask, what to look for, and then I talk with them afterwards and we kind of debrief and whatnot, but
Nice.
yeah.
Out of the percentage of people, sorry, this is really interesting to me, and we haven't talked for a while. Out of the people that do contact you and need placement, what are the people that maybe you're not able to help? Like what's like the difficulty there?
No, for sure. So assisted living and memory care is generally private pay. So your standard insurance doesn't pay for it. A lot of people think like Medicaid pays for it, but traditional Medicaid doesn't. You have to be on a different program. So I'm only able to help people that are private pay. So people that are looking for like low income housing or housing that Medicaid is going to pay for, that's not really something I'm able to help with. I do get those calls still, so I just try to connect you with the right resources if they are there. But I think like the message to put out there is definitely try to plan ahead. A lot of people think they're never going to be in this situation, and everyone will be in this situation. So yeah,
it's
yeah,
inevitable.
right.
What's been the best form of marketing for you, or like how do you, like the best form of getting your leads? Where do you find most of your leads? Is it referral based? Is it word of mouth? How do you get your leads?
Probably referral based and word of mouth. So most of my people come from like the social workers, either in home health companies or hospitals, things like that, or just previous families that I've helped with. The online marketing has been kind of tricky just because people don't really know that it's a thing, right?
Yeah.
So it also, we have to be the original referral source. So if a family's already called every building and then calls us, the buildings won't let us work with that family.
Why is that?
That's just how they have it all set up. So basically, like if you call in,
There's just like some
That's such a weird
there's
rule,
just like
too.
some
Yeah.
unwritten
That
rule
is
there.
a
Like,
weird
oh, they
rule.
already contacted
Like
us,
if
so we
they've
can't work
reached
with you?
out,
exactly, yeah. If their name is in the system, like that's an organic lead to them, and they don't want your help figuring it out. So
wow.
yeah, it's kind of interesting. There's a couple of other like competitors out there on a national scale that are very good at just gathering people's names and submitting those to buildings. And so it's hard sometimes when families call and need help and they don't know that they've already
Been
submitted
registered.
their form right to somebody else. And I'm like, I wish I could help you, but like
You're already in the
You're already
system.
in the system. So
Yeah.
yeah, it makes it hard.
Is there any other competitors? Like, do you have other competitors that are doing what you're doing?
So, like, A Place for Mom is a big national company. So they're very tricky, though. Like, you could Google, give me a price for a specific building, and it'll pull up A Place for Mom. So a lot of people don't really recognize, like, the whole ad website situation, right? So you think you're getting something from it, but what you're really doing is just filling out a lead form. And so
you're getting put in the database.
Yeah, when I ran assisted livings, we'd have people come in for tours, like asking for 3 bedrooms, and we're like, who told you we had one of those? Like, we don't have one, right? And it's because they're talking to people that aren't in the state or just aren't really familiar with the industry. So I'm sure, some of their people they do an awesome job with, but I think sometimes a lot of people don't even know that they're working with them.
Right.
So would you say like your biggest hurdle to cross most of the time is like the education of just like, hey, this is who we are, this is exactly what we do, and this exists even?
Exactly, yeah. I think just the awareness. I think, even we do have a couple of other like local competitors. I think the advantage that we have is we've been in the industry, we have education in the industry, we've ran these buildings. There's a lot of people kind of popping up thinking that this is like the next, big opportunity that have come from like retail backgrounds or, things that don't really necessarily have any relation to the industry. And so, yeah.
They come in there and they probably think that they can just like sell.
Exactly. So I'm like,
they have no personal touch. And I feel like in this industry, it's like, that's what really would kind of like set you apart, is that personal touch.
100%. Well, I think too, like it's such an overwhelming experience anyways. No one really knows. People don't even know what the difference between like assisted living and skilled nursing is, right? So you just think it's time to go to a home.
Right.
And I think a lot of other companies necessarily don't have like the best intention for the person. So something we've done to differentiate ourselves. So it's free for families, same as everybody else. We get paid by the buildings, but we set ours up as a flat fee payment versus everywhere else takes usually a percentage of the first month's rent. So we feel like it takes away any bias of us referring to you because we are going to make more money.
Yes, because it's like a higher price point. Okay,
exactly.
That makes sense.
So
that's cool.
It's been awesome. Yeah.
I just got back from Idaho, and like my personal story, if you will. So I was up there for Grandma's funeral, right? And Grandma's funeral was yesterday, but she was in an assisted living place, and I went up there. What was it? Weekend before last week? So a week ago. She had fallen, I want to say like 2 weeks ago, and broke her hip, and she's 92.
Yeah.
Like it was her time. All right.
Okay.
She had a full life, if you will. But like when they're that old, when they break their hip, like it's kind of like a death sentence, basically. But anyways, I went to go visit her before she passed, like a week ago, and that was like my first time like in an assisted living place, and it was really nice. It was awesome. It was up in Idaho and stuff, but I didn't realize like how intricate it is. But like she had like her living room, and like when you think of assisted living, like I don't know, I'm not educated, right? I thought of like a hospital room, if you will.
And I feel like that's like, I dated a girl that was a CNA, and it opened my eyes to how nice some of these places actually are.
That's what I was saying. Like it was really eye opening to me, just being in that center of being like, oh shit, like this is super cool. For real. Like this is nice. Like there's a kitchen and front room and like her things are in there, so it felt like Grandma's house, but
because I totally agree. Off the top of your head, you'll be like, ooh, assisted living home. Like I don't. Yeah. Like it's probably like a little.
It's a huge stigma.
But
yes, a huge stigma. But really, they're so fancy. Honestly, some of them are like 5-star resorts.
Oh, I'm like, can I move yet?
Yeah, seriously though.
And like you said, I remember like when the family made the decision to put her there and everything, like that's a huge thing, and you're going through things and you don't know what your options are and things, and so I can relate to that because I just got back from Idaho yesterday, but it was really nice. Like I said, the assisted living place was super nice. But
I know that you said like when families come in, a lot of them are paying attention to probably like you said, the chandeliers, all that. But what is some of the stuff that they should really actually pay attention to?
Yeah, that's a great question, Ko. Like, if someone's looking for a center or something like that, what do you look for? Like, what's some advice that you would, say these are the top things? Yeah,
to pay attention to. So I think it kind of all depends on the person, right? So back to kind of the stigma, a lot of people reference like when their grandparents went somewhere, 20 years ago. And that's typically a skilled nursing, what we're thinking about. So skilled nursing is, you have your hospital bed, you have like the curtain, you're usually sharing a room. A lot of times it's because you're on a short-term stay or because like Medicaid is paying for it. Whereas assisted living is much more apartment style, right? They come unfurnished, you bring your own stuff. When you move in, the nurse does a care plan for you. So sits down, figures out what you are needing help with, and that's what tells the staff, we're helping with showers or meds or whatever. So it's very much freedom is there. You can come and go as you please. Your family can come and go. Obviously, it's important to find like a place that you think looks nice, but depending on what you need, if you are someone who needs a lot of help, right, definitely be asking what the care staffing ratio is, because that is going to dictate how long you're waiting for help, things like that. So if they're short staffed and you need a lot of help, it's probably not the best building for you. I think also, you know, there's a lot of families that they've driven past one building for, you know, the last 10 years down the street. They think that's the one mom's going to. And then I talk to them and they tell me, okay, yeah, she's really social, you know, food's really important. And I'm like, that is not the building that she needs to go to.
Food will be important for me. When Jet, my son's looking for a place, he's going to be like, Dad likes to eat.
Yes, food. We don't care about anything else.
We need a chef in this place.
Yeah, no, 100%. So there's also families, though, that they think, you know, here's my dad. All he does is he hangs out in his room, he watches TV, and they're telling me that they want to go look at this place that's, you know, the most expensive place out there that has 200 activities going on a month. And I'm like...
It's like he doesn't give two shits about that.
I'm like, he's not going out of his room. Like, why are we going to pay that much more money?
Maybe he does.
Yeah.
It depends.
It depends, right?
God, I'm so good at that.
Okay, yeah, no. So there you go. That's what you look for. Care, food... I don't know.
No, that makes a lot of sense, because I could totally see, like, there's probably a huge gamut of options of, like, oh yeah, not social, doesn't care about activities at all, but, you know, or needs more care, so needs like more hands-on care and everything.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna want one that has a bunch of activities.
Right? Like keep me
like
entertained.
group stuff.
Oh, there's some they go to
what
like
was
the
that?
plays, everything.
Really?
Yeah.
We went up to we work with a lot with United Way.
Oh, okay.
And what was that? That it was a senior center, so it wasn't assisted living, but their activities there,
They were cool. They would do like every night. They would have stuff like anything from karaoke to like bingo,
line dancing,
to like
and
line
bingo,
dancing.
and they had like this old bingo, and it's a senior citizen center, so it's not the same thing.
It's definitely not the same thing. Like it's just like an
That's
activity.
A pop and play.
Those activities
Yeah.
were rad. Like, and we were like, dang, these guys are getting it down, and like it was super cool at that assisted living place. I wish I remember the name of it. It was in Pocatello, but
I want to say it was just like Pocatello assistant
senior center.
Senior center.
It probably is that, but we need to find a place like that one. Dude, what are millennials gonna look for? You know, like that's.
I know. Have you? So like, I know you haven't been doing this for like decades, but like, have you seen changes?
Oh,
from the time you started to now.
Even when my first was in high school, right? And just the technology that has come into play. One, there's a lot more communication. Two, there's also a lot more call systems. So if you need something, it's real time. Paging the aides and not having to go check the computer anymore and see like what room is calling. So it's a lot more on top of it that way. And then I think just adjusting to what the demand of the people coming in are, right? People now are going to have higher expectations of care and activities. So there's some that they'll go to Wendover, right? Or it's not just bingo anymore, right? So they're like really stepping it up.
Let's get on the fun bus, Granny.
Yeah.
We're playing roulette tonight.
Here we go. Yeah, no,
Dude,
it's a very entertaining experience.
That's really cool.
It's cool.
Back to a business question that came up in my mind. So that's who you are, what you do.
Yep.
In the business realm of things, what's your favorite part of business, or what are some of the parts of business that are harder for you?
So I think in this business, getting to work with the families is the most awesome part, feeling like I'm solving a problem and alleviating the stress that comes with it. I also think just like business in general, probably the networking, not so much like marketing networking, but just getting to know other businesses and, you know, hear each other's frustrations and brainstorming, things like that. Mm-hmm. Probably the biggest frustration for me has been just like lead gen marketing. Mm-hmm. So even in the industry, word of mouth, there's a big turnover with social workers. So like by the time you've committed a relationship, like now you're gone, right? And so now it's like now I have to reinvent the wheel. And with more and more players coming in, that sometimes I refuse to kind of play the bribery route. I think you should refer to me because I do a good job, not because I'm like gifting you things under the table. Yeah, that you're
great at your job, you know your shit, you know how to do things.
But we live in a world now, right,
where the bribery is definitely
let me do this,
I scratch your back, you scratch mine.
Exactly. So that's been kind of like a interesting topic for me, just because I don't want to go down that route. But
with mine, I hate numbers, like the accounting side of things. Like, and I've had to learn to love it.
I hate numbers.
That's like my favorite.
See, I've had to learn to love that, and because like that's what I'm in all the time and everything. But I love the social aspect of business, the networking, the same thing. But
no numbers.
The back end and
like
filing.
Taxes. I'm like, can anyone throw me a bone?
I know, right? Like taxes and just reapplying for business license and all like the paperwork crap.
Yes.
I hate that stuff.
The busy work.
I hate that stuff.
It's not fun.
What's your favorite part of business, Co?
I mean, personally, I actually like
the numbers.
reading the data.
I know.
But all of a sudden you said taxes, and I was like, no way. I do not like taxes or any of that type of stuff.
No.
But like reading data and being able to like project future and like see what it's gonna be like, and then like design how you want to do things to reach that goal. I like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
You're
It's kind of
like,
nerdy.
You're very like systematized, like A to B.
I've got a little bit of
Very
OCD.
processed.
Okay.
You're very
Sure.
processed.
Fun.
That's a good thing in business to have like the OCD factor, though.
Yeah.
To a point.
Gotta get it done.
Gotta get
Right?
it done.
Correct.
Except for it's like a battle of perfectionist and like.
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
I
That's the
feel you on
thing.
that.
That's
Yeah.
the thing.
The hardest part.
I have to help Koa with is like perfectionism, because he'll like, man, when I watch him edit some certain videos, there's like this little thing, and he'll just. No, that's bad. And I'm like, dude, like,
See
Move
ya. Never.
along.
no one's gonna
one's gonna
notice
notice
that.
that,
Like,
right?
no one will notice that.
I
Yeah.
notice
Except
it.
he notices it, and that's why.
That's
it
like the
becomes
only
a-
thing he can notice. He's
Yeah,
like,
it's
we
all
will
I
not
can
move
see,
on
and
till
I'll
it's
never
done.
unsee it until it's gone. So.
What's the future of a life for seniors? Where do you see you're going? Do you want to be like a national brand? Are you expanding?
Yeah, I was gonna
all
ask you
over?
like, so you've been expanding, right? And I guess I should ask this,
Yeah.
like, do you partner up with these homes?
Yeah, so I have contracts with pretty much all the assisted livings. There's a couple that I don't do a lot with just because I don't feel like they do the best job. And I want to make sure if I'm referring you somewhere, like my name is attached to the care when you
Right.
get there. So, but for the most part, I would say 99% of the buildings we do have contracts with. So right now, we started just in Salt Lake, but now we're pretty much Logan, the whole Wasatch Front, and St. George. So
How do you go about doing that? You like walk into the doors, like.
yeah, so luckily it's easy for the assisted livings because they're not paying me unless someone moves in, right? So there's no downfall for them to have a contract. Plus, we've just had a good working relationship even prior to me starting this, so that's been really helpful. For St. George, I kind of just split time, go back and forth, just to kind of keep relationships, going. But I think the next plan is to open down in Boise. And
Boise is
Up
popping
in
off.
Boise.
up in Boise. Yeah, I always say down.
I was
My
like,
dad
down in
says up.
Boise? I was like, is there Boise, Nevada? What's
Surprise.
going on? That's
Yeah.
surprise. No,
No.
okay, up in Boise.
Yeah, up in Boise, and then kind of see how that goes, and then maybe look at a couple of different areas. So eventually, the goal is to expand. I think the number one thing is just for us to figure out the marketing side of it.
The lead gen side
Yeah,
of things.
because I can't like physically be there.
You can't
every
like
day.
hop to every.
Yes.
Well, I guess
I
that's
could,
another thing.
but
Have you thought about like hiring people?
Yeah, so we've tried a couple of different routes. So I think it's still just trying to figure out what the secret is to it, right?
Where's
so,
the formula?
Because that's what I was gonna say. I think
Yeah.
that's like my least favorite. Well, it's not my least favorite part, but it's also like one of the most challenging parts is finding and hiring the right people.
Yeah.
Oh
no.
yeah, we've struggled with that for sure.
For
Like,
sure.
that's a hard thing to do right now.
It is
Especially because
super
like
hard.
brand is so important, and I think for me, like a big part of my brand here is my reputation, and so trying to find someone that has equal. So my sister is actually moving to Boise, so I think we might try to give that a go and
That'd be
see
cool.
if we can kind of offset it that way a little bit. And then I think for different states, just meeting the right people and going from there.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many family members I've hired and fired. So
Yeah.
good. Have fun with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Make sure it works out. Make a very clear outline
Yes,
of what's
yeah.
expected.
If
and-
not, I'm like, okay, Boise's not that far. I can probably manage
Yeah.
there, but yeah.
Yeah.
And then once we figure out what the system looks like, try to expand it.
How do you feel it is being a woman entrepreneur in Utah?
Utah is a unique place, to say the least. I think it kind of depends on who you've talked to. I think for me, getting relationships with the assisted livings was lucky because I already knew them prior to starting this. But I think as far as like just word of mouth marketing, I've tried different things, like the Rotary Club or things like that. And I think it could have been more effective if I had been a man. Like one time someone was like, could you get me water? And I was like, I'm not like staff here. Like I'm
find
one
somebody
of the
else, bro.
members. Yeah.
Can you grab me a
right?
water, please?
Yeah.
Like, are you talking to me?
No,
please.
right? I'm like, it's
Seriously.
fine, it's fine. But even I think being younger too, I think trying to
Yeah.
get people to take you seriously. I know when I ran buildings, there was a couple families that like really struggled with my age because they were like, well, how could you possibly know what you're doing if you're, this young? And it's
Yeah.
like, because I know what I'm doing,
been
right? So it's been interesting. I think maybe there could be faster growth or things like that if I wasn't a female, but for the most part, I'm surviving. So
You're surviving.
I think though
Thriving.
it's interesting because like on the marketing side, I always talk about this. going to market to like female social workers, I feel like has been really challenging. Whereas like if I was a guy, like the guy marketers I know, they can go talk to some of these discharge planners and different, you know, referral networks, and they just hit it off. So I'm like,
and so maybe it's an intimidation factor.
I don't know. I'm like, why can you get them but I can't, right? We're saying the exact same thing, but I don't know. I'm gonna start sending my brother in or something. Yeah, send one of you two.
Yeah,
I got you.
Let's get in there.
Right? They're like, hello. If like the mic in your ear. Yeah.
Man, you're cruising through my questions that I had prepared. You're like media trained. You're like PR trained. Usually we have to like talk and bring some stuff out.
Okay, yeah.
One of the questions I was gonna that we ask every single one of our guests is, if you had a message to, like, if this is your platform to like tell the world or to tell your target demographic or whatever it is, what would that message be?
I think plan for aging. I feel like everyone plans for like retirement and school and when they have kids, and you know there's a lot more thought put into what those structures look like. But I think a lot of people think either A, my kids are going to take care of me, or B, I'm just never going to one of those places. So I think talking with your parents, finding a plan. There's so many emergency situations where you've fallen in the kitchen, you've broken your hip, you're now in rehab for 2 weeks, and then rehab calls and says you're discharging tomorrow and you can't go home, right? So and those situations are really hard because the assisted livings want to do an assessment and get things going. So usually we like, you know, at least 48 hours. But I think also just the education point, back to the stigma thing. There's a lot of families where it's like dad is adamant he is not going. He cannot get him to do this. You know, we can't go against his will. But maybe just introducing the idea. So a lot of times I'm like, let's just go have lunch. Let's just go see the place, right?
Let's go look at this place. Look how sick it is. It's literally like a resort.
That's what I was gonna say, Amelia. When you said just talk with your parents at least, that has to be a hard conversation.
So one of the hardest.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, what are the tips and tricks? Just say, hey, let's grab lunch and let's talk about.
Ooh, that's a great question. Like, say you're.
How do you bring it up?
Yeah, being like
what's
the child.
An innovative,
how do you bring that up in
way.
like a nice way?
Sorry, talking over you, Co. I'm a horrible.
That's the same question.
No, I follow. I think either one. So a big reason people don't want to move, right, is because they think they're losing their independence by doing so. I think having like the hard conversation of, if you are living at home unsafely and you have that incident that happens, you're going to lose so much more independence by having to go to rehab. If you do recover, then you could go to assisted living. But if you don't recover, like that is what you know now, right? So I think, you know, with families that we've worked with, to go somewhere while you are still fairly independent, right? Like maybe you're just not really driving anymore, right? You can live completely independently in these places, but go somewhere so if something were to happen, you do have that response. I mean, I've had horror stories of people falling and not being found for like 2 days, right? In the shower.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, had that been in a different environment, someone would have found you within, you know, an hour, and you wouldn't have gone down the road that you did. So I think not necessarily like the fear tactic, but it is like the reality tactic of, if you want to keep your independence, we need to go somewhere where you are supported to be independent.
Yes.
You know, we're not trying to take it away. When you go there, they're not going to start doing everything for you. You know, they're just, you live there.
They're there to help just in case. Because I feel like that's huge. Recently, I just barely had this happen. I have a next door neighbor who's, I want to say he's like paralyzed. He rolls around in a wheelchair. And he never calls me. I've helped him out with like yard stuff. A lot this last summer, but he never really calls me, and randomly out of nowhere I get a call, and I think we might have even been getting ready to do one of these podcasts.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
And he was like, hey Mako, are you home? And I was like, no, I'm at the office, I'm not gonna be home for probably like another 2 hours. He's like, well, I was trying to get in my car and I fell over and I'm stuck in the backyard. And luckily I have a roommate, and I was like, Kendall, I need you to run over and help Bob up. And like I stayed on the phone with him right until like I could hear Kendall come in. How's it going, Bob? Like it's crazy how scary that could be, because he was gonna sit there for 2 hours until I got off, because there's nobody else to come and pick him up.
Yeah, and that's like that's really interesting. You know, like you're helping them have independence actually. You know, and you're not taking it away. They're helping. These places are there to like help you have independence even more. You know,
and I feel like that's for me when I get to that age. I hope that I still have the same mindset, but it's like I would kind of be excited because I get to socialize, like from being at that age and being home by yourself, assumably at that time. I think getting around people and like
isolation is like one of the biggest reasons people decline, right? And I think we saw that a lot during COVID.
Yeah.
And it's like just the whole use it or lose it thing is so true when you age. And so like just being around other people and having that interaction. And I think even like people don't really pay attention to, you know, if you see your parent, they're not really like cooking anymore, or they're just eating candy bars like as their meals because they're not really comfortable with cooking anymore. Nutrition is huge, right? If you're not drinking enough water and you're not eating right, like UTIs are really big, which end up having more falls and confusion. And so paying attention to those little things that kind of seem like, you know, whatever, it's not a big deal, but ultimately that could be like the reason that you fall. So move to a senior living place, right? Live in their independent section and just get the meals, right? And then drive your car and go play tennis and golf and whatever you do all day. But at least like the one part that is going to create maybe a potential issue is taken care of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where can people find you? Where can they learn more about what you do and what you have to offer?
Okay, yeah, my website is a great place. So it's just alifeforseniors.com. There's a form on there you can fill out. My number's on there, so you can text me, email me, call me, whatever works best.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions about this or want to get in touch with Amelia, we'll link her website and contact info in the bio.
Yes. And as always, you can catch this podcast on YouTube, our website, as well as all major streaming networks, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Till next time, thank you so much for being our guest today.
Thanks,
Thank you.
We really appreciate you. It was super fun talking with you, and we will see you guys next time.
Peace.